Good evening. We present the news summary. The Department of Tourism is asking all current licensed operators on LADIG managing tourism establishments with unlicensed rooms to come forward and apply for a change of use in order to regularize their situation. This will allow the Department of Tourism to identify all operational rooms on the island and make proposals for the review of the moratorium currently in place on the island that restricts the construction of new tourism establishments.
There are currently 128 licensed tourism establishments on La Digue, but some of those licensed establishments are renting rooms to tourists which are not covered under their license, and this limits the capacity of the Department of Tourism to ascertain the total number of rooms available on the island. With the recent announcement from the Department of Tourism, those establishments with a valid license will be able to regularize their situation for their unlicensed rooms.
As part of the process to review the existing moratorium which exists on LADIG, we've been guided to do it in a phased do the review in a phased approach. The first part of the review is to understand how much operational rooms there are on LADIG. And here we are talking about the licensed establishment on LADIG, which probably may be operating other rooms under their license, which are not part of their license. So today's press conference is to invite these already licensed properties, if they have additional rooms, more than the 5 which they were licensed for, to come forward.
Tourism establishments have 1 month to submit an application for a change of use with the planning authority.
A group of police officers, along with colleagues from other entities engaged in the fight against financial crimes, are attending a 4-day training session. The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, is financing the training. Officers from the Asset Recovery Interagency Network for Southern Africa, ARINSA, are the facilitators.
We do have our expertise in asset recovery and asset seizures. That is what we have been doing in South Africa, and that is what we'll be sharing today on financial investigations, as well as how to bring those applications in court. So it's a dual process.
Asset recovery and fighting money laundering is a global phenomenon. And in order to be successful, we need to work together. It is often said that fighting money laundering, recovering the proceeds of crime is a contact sport. The relationships between law enforcement across countries is critical to fighting this crime, as well as recovering the proceeds of those crimes. And working together, therefore, and sharing best practices and lessons learned puts us in a much stronger position.
The next presidential candidate for United Seychelles, who is also the party leader, Patrick Emini, has said he is guided by the principles established by the party's founding father, France-Albert René, 60 years ago. Addressing delegates at the 37th United Seychelles Party Congress yesterday, Dr. Emini assured supporters of wanting to work for all Seychellois without any distinction. The ceremony began around 2 p.m. and was followed by the reading out of the Congress resolution approving the candidacy of Dr. Patrick Emini for the presidential election in September 2025. After the Congress, the presidential candidate answered questions from the press.
I remain a fervent supporter of social justice, and I believe that man should always be at the center of development. Unfortunately, in our country over the last 4 years, we've seen a deepening in the division between those who are rich and those who are poor. And the lower class is increasing while the middle class is shrinking. And it is this that we want to reverse and give equal opportunity, I repeat, equal opportunity to all Seychellois with the aim of having eventually a strong middle class where people can live in comfort. So this is what I stand for. I stand for social justice. I stand for equal opportunity for all individuals, and I also believe in the equitable distribution of the national cake of the budget. Today, the sexual workers are demoralized, and we blame them for everything. You see, whilst all the Jews, all that are the rightful Jews, are being removed. Okay, and the impression being given is, you people should satisfy yourself with a salary, and that's it. What else are you looking for? And we've seen that in some of the intervention in the National Assembly. And these are some of the issues that we would like to tackle, probably quite early in my administration, to prepare the ground for a better Seychelles.
You also talked about unity.
Unity is very important because it is my view that we lost the last election. In fact, previously we've lost the National Assembly because of division in the party. A party cannot survive three schisms. Okay, we had one, with the L'Alliance Cicérois, the last one that's common knowledge, but we can afford to have a third one. I mean, if we have a third one, that will be probably the end of our party. So this is why I insist on unity. And I believe that if we are united, in fact, we are very united. All the various groups that have been formed are back now on board, like we say. We have the numbers. I'm persuaded that we have the numbers to reach over 50% to secure the presidency. So unity is of paramount importance.
A 9-member delegation of the women caucus in the Parliament of Zimbabwe is on a 1-week exchange visit in the country. The Speaker of the National Assembly, Roger Monsien, welcomed them this morning at the start of their visit. They later met with the Chief Election Officer, Manuela Amsbury, and the Commissioner and Deputy Commissioner of the Anti-Corruption Commission, Midi Silva, and Denis Joubert. The head of the delegation said that they especially want to learn from Seychelles how it has managed to come out first in Africa on the Corruption Perception Index published by international organization Transparency Initiative.
Because we have noticed that Seychelles is one of the countries that has less corruption, and the pattern of voting systems and the reforms, we see them to be doing good. So this is a visit that we learn, and maybe we improve where there is need in our own country. What we have mainly learned, it's not that corruption is done by a certain gender, but it is done maybe by the influence of the position, and we really want to try and lobby for more enforcement in law. This is what we have noticed, that this side law is being enforced. We also want to hear their skills, how they lobby, and we also want to give each other ideas so that we attain the 50-50 in our assemblies and in the decision-making positions.
Seychelles' oldest centurion, Mrs. Noemi Benoit, has passed away at the age of 108 on the 1st of this month. Her wake and funeral will be held at St. Andre's Church in Cascade, followed by burial in the Cascade Cemetery. Mrs. Benoit became the country's oldest centurion after the death of Mrs. Margaret Woodfield Popenoe at 111. Mrs. Antoinette Barak, another Cascade resident, now holds the title of Seychelles' oldest living centurion at the age of 105. This was the news summary. Thank you for your attention.